tell me more about Cori Bush, and you said Jasmine Crockett?
Jasmine Crockett. Jasmine Crockett was speaking, and she said, this is where, she was at a Human Rights Campaign conference speaking there, okay? And she's like, these hot ass streets of Texas, she's like, the only, hot one here is Governor Hot Wheels. The only thing that's hot about him is that he's a hot mess. Well, that exploded on right-wing news channels, and even Donald Trump, he called her a lowlife, a degenerate, and that she should be removed from office for that little comment, because Governor Abbott is in a wheelchair, which, so what? Like, she didn't say anything bad about it. She just called him Hot Wheels. She made a name like Trump does Pocahontas.
Yeah.
Or whatever else he calls people. He said he could grab a woman by the...
Yeah.
And no one did anything.
If it's good for the goose, baby. And by the way, I think Abbott is a piece of shit. And I think that calling him like Mayor Hot Wheels or whatever the hell, I think that is, she could say a lot worse. I think it's okay, especially nowadays. You got to start calling it out. And if it rattles somebody, too damn bad.
And we have someone on the other side now that is like not afraid to, you know, like say things that normal people would say, not like polished. Every word is.
We need more trumpets than politicians.
Yes.
We need more outspoken, real people. Yeah.
And people like that. People don't like politicians like Hillary Clinton, who it's like, I got hot sauce in my bag because you heard a Beyonce song and you think that makes you cool, but you never had hot sauce in your bag. They're like, I don't even
know the God. I'm obviously not cool.
Beyonce said, I got hot sauce in my bag, swag. And Charlamagne the God asked what Hillary Clinton had in her purse. And she was like, I always carry hot sauce.
That's what Hillary Clinton said?
That's what she said. And it was like, no, you don't. Like she was in a room with black people. She was the only white woman, and they just burst out laughing. They were like, you do.
But if she brought out that Tabasco out of her, like Louis Vuitton, like, does that what happened or no?
No, that is not what happened.
Oh, because I would have been like, show me the hot sauce.
She's like, oh, I don't have the bag with me.
Is that what she said?
Yeah, something like that. Like, not this one, but usually.
She's got a special bag for hot sauce?
For her hot sauce bag.
Is there sauerkraut in there too and relish? Please, girl. But I'm not a hater on Hillary Clinton. Compared to what's going on now, I know you are. Compared to what's going on now, I would have rather all the above. Because what's going on now is some serious democracy crippling shit. And speaking of crippling shit, we do have to mention that at some point we are going to get new mics because we obviously had a little technical snafu in our last episode because we like truncated it. And I just want to put it out there that we're aware, working on it, like trying to do the best we can and make an episode sound decent, even though we have to basically start over almost from scratch, which we both despise.
But we're appreciative to the listeners who are listening, and we'll have our Patreon link posted with this episode, so you can donate to us and help us get those new mics faster.
We need them. Wow, we do. We need some.
We do. These are some cheap, no brand Amazon ones.
Yeah. Wow.
But they work. They were better than our original, just using the phone to record. We did those episodes. True. Yeah.
But it doesn't help that I'm so not good at this, that I'm like rattling around and like fussing and like getting up to check on the dogs and trying to talk at the same time, and my bad
sort
back
of,
and
but
feet, like
with a better mic,
a little crazy.
It all gets easier.
Yeah,
and it all sounds way better. We have to have these perfectly positioned to avoid that rumble. Yeah, like that if it's too close, like it isn't like that with the other ones.
Like a headband mic or like a Britney mic or something where it doesn't matter what I'm doing.
Exactly,
the sound's still going to be crisp and
it's clean. A little box attached to yourself. Great audio.
We were talking about like the Jasmine Crockett's, who I like, and the Cori Bushes of the world, and the Cory Booker, who I like, and maybe you don't, but I think he's great.
At least he did something. He got up there, set a record, 25 hours.
He's been doing something since he's been, and he's young. These people are all young.
Yeah.
These are what we need in the Democratic Party.
Yes.
It's fighters, baby. Celebrities, fighters, new energy, zero politics.
Like we've had big mouths on the right constantly, like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, man.
Who just won't shut up. Most of them just won't shut up. So gross. We need some people like that.
But I think Cori Bush, Cory Booker, and Jasmine Crockett are all kind of cute. I like them.
Jasmine Crockett is cute and
Marjorie
funny.
is B, and I don't have a problem with her as much as I have a problem with her mouth and her bad look. Yeah. Her looks are so bad. She shouldn't be coming for anybody. because she's a disgrace facially. Like,
Yeah.
she looks like an ape.
Yeah, we've talked about
I'm
that's
so
our
sick
first
of that
episode.
shit.
If you want to hear more about that, we talked about all about how the ugly people.
We
It's
don't,
the
yeah.
ugly ones.
Look, even in politics,
Episode 1.
like now that we're looking to reform the Democratic Party, reform and switch it up, because I think it needs reform, but it also needs
100%.
a change of mindset, right? But I do think the attractiveness principle goes a long way because it is entertainment. We need to look up to these people. Celebrities work in politics. Obviously, Yep. Let's have our own. I think those are the politicians that are in the fighter faction. And then we need more celebrities and influencers and people that have this drive, this passion to change things, but that are going to get a lot of people on board. I think that's what we need.
Yeah.
We need reform across the board. I mean, I think you and I offline were starting to talk about our prison system. And since that last conversation, there's been even more stuff. Remember, did I tell you about the 2 women that were strangled?
Yes.
And they were strangled by their partners who they were visiting in prison. And I guess prisoners, as long as you're not convicted of a sex crime or on death row, you're allowed 30 to 40 hour overnight visits in an apartment style setting, obviously paid for by taxpayers. I think these 2 innocent women were killed by their prison partners. One of them murdered 4 people. He wasn't on death row, but he killed 4 people. And now her.
What was her name?
I don't remember. It was 2 women, though. Just in this past year, both prisons were in California.
In California, yeah.
It's a problem. So I know you don't believe in the death penalty. I do, but there is an issue when even the most basic, like common sense tenets, like there's some bureaucracy or some law or some stipulation that allows these prisoners who don't deserve this luxury to have the luxury and also puts innocent lives at risk. And I think we both agree, I think, based on what I took out of that conversation, that you're in agreement with me that they shouldn't have these overnight visits.
No, and we did talk, but that obviously wasn't able to be aired because it was in our bad section. But
we did talk about
it's California, and 3 other states that still allow the conjugal visit. So it's like, it's an old law that hasn't been repealed yet. And I have a very good sense that these will be the catalyst to change that law after this happens.
I hope so, because, 2 more people, murderers, got to kill again while they were incarcerated for us to learn that lesson. Like, how come all the lessons in our supposedly the best country in the world, our civilized society, how come the lessons are not getting learned before people have to die?
Yeah. And if
that's what's crazy.
Are in another state and you're wondering if your state allows conjugal visits, it's California, Connecticut, New York, and Washington that still allow conjugal visits.
I mean, there's some stuff with the liberal movement that some areas are going in the wrong direction. It's not about more rights for prisoners. Sorry, that is not what my being a Democrat is all about. We have
different views on that, about prisoners' rights and whether they should be forced into slave labor and create like an actual way for modern slavery to still exist.
No, you're right. We differ in that, but I think we're the same in that if you're a murderer and you killed 4 people, you're not on the top of the list of priorities and rights.
Yeah.
Sorry. And the access to an innocent person that you could kill.
Yes.
Wow.
I 100% agree.
That's the ultimate abuse of all of that freedom and all of that energy that we're putting into making their lives better. No, if you're a drug offender or some low level that you happen to be caught up in the system, that is different.
Oh, okay.
To me.
2 things.
But we've talked about that before.
Yeah. What if you're like a Jeffrey Dahmer and your mother was like insane, abusive, and basically made you, nature over nurture.
There are people,
obviously a murderer.
Yeah. There are people that I think have been abused so badly that turn to a life of crime that they should be in a mental institute. But that's the problem, because our healthcare in this country is also so messed up. Yeah. And mental health care has been a huge problem even 100 years ago.
100 years ago, it was like archaic torture. Like you go to this island, whatever prison is supposed to be,
Oh my God, no,
sanitariums or whatever.
Oh my God, yeah.
Talking about years ago, yeah.
Yes,
and it's like electric shock therapy and conversion therapy for homosexuality.
There was a place in my high school that there was a psychiatric hospital that was finally closed down, but we used to drive by it was on my way to high school, and it was still open then. Yeah. And that was not that long. It was obviously not 100 years ago. We have not come that much farther, though, in the past 30, 40, 20 years where there's been these strides. So a Jeffrey Dahmer type, I'm not quite sure because I honestly don't know enough about him. But there have been some that have been absolutely so abused that they're not there anymore. They're gone. And those people belong in a maximum security mental health facility where they can't hurt themselves or anybody else.
Yeah.
That's different than people that commit murder, that every proof is there, every appeal is exhausted. They actually even admitted to it. And you know what? That person should not get the opportunity to kill again. Sorry, whether you believe in the death penalty or not. There's a difference between insane and somebody who deserves punishment.
I completely agree. I saw this story yesterday, that the night before, this guy was coming home late from work. He worked in a restaurant. He stayed late. He was working back of house, cleans up, does dishes, all that kind of stuff. He has 5 kids and a wife, and 23-year-old came up walking behind him and shot him dead. Like, no reason. He didn't know him, nothing. And took away that life. Like,
why'd he kill him?
No reason. He just walked up behind him and shot him. No reason.
There are those people. There are those people.
And that is truly just like, I don't know, disturbing. It's like the police were like, wrong place, wrong time. That is, I don't know. It's heartbreaking because that means it could happen anywhere. Like there's no logic behind it.
Do you think that person deserves that penalty?
I think that person, okay, this is the other thing.
There's one guy the death penalty.
I think death is released. Death is released from like prison every day, having to live the rest of your life in there and knowing you're never going to get out of there. Knowing that is the rest of your life in this little box.
But that's what we keep, the impasse is that we keep coming to this, and we've talked about this before, so we don't want to belabor the point, but we're not keeping them in prison, we're letting them out. Look at what they're doing to Luigi Mangione right now. They're asking for the death penalty. So even our own Pam Bondi or whatever, our Injustice Department, like it's getting so insane in this country, but has always been this insane in this country and others, obviously, where we don't have the proper criminal justice system. So there's 2, maybe 3 forms of justice in this country.
Yeah.
She's calling for the death penalty for him. He killed 1 person, supposedly, right? So they haven't proven it yet. Did he kill him? Yeah, probably did.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure it's him, right? He did. He killed the guy in cold blood. He was pissed off about our healthcare and that this guy's been killing other people, denying benefits for all these years and getting rich off of it. So the guy got gunned down in the street. They want the death penalty for him. But just last week, I read about 3 different cases where they killed multiple people and they all got plea deals. One as less as, it was 10 years in prison. 10 years! The guy killed 4 people.
That does not make any sense.
That was the plea deal because they didn't want to have to go to court, pay all this money, do all this stuff. So that person who killed 4 people gets 10 years, and our own Injustice Department is asking for a death penalty for this guy, vigilante killer, who killed 1 person. Sorry, but again, it's not commensurate. Let the punishment fit the crime. There are people that make mistakes in this world and somebody ends up dead. Should that person have life in prison? Probably not, because it was an accident. They went to court. All the evidence shows maybe it was this, it was that, whatever it might be. But there's so much reasonable doubt and so much wiggle room. Maybe there was even, they were contrite. There was remorse. There was something. So that person who took a life shouldn't have their life taken. There's thousands of those. And some of them are innocent people who end up there and they really ended up they didn't kill that person, but they were wrong place, wrong time, like you said, right? And railroaded by the justice system, they end up in a place where this stuff is being done to them. Do they deserve the ultimate punishment? No. But there's, again, so many cases that it's been totally proven. It is not reasonable doubt. No matter how expensive the attorney, it's so obvious. The person killed 5 people. They admitted to it. They caught him on camera. They got the whole thing. Sorry, but that person does not deserve free healthcare, free food, free everything, having a slaughterhouse just for that prison to pay for all their meals for the next 60 years. No, ma'am. That person should be eradicated from society and killed. In my mind, because if we had the money to pay for it, let's leave him in life in prison and let him rot, like you said, and pay for his crimes and learn. But no, now what we're doing is we're letting them out early. oftentimes half of their prison sentence. And the whole time they're there, they're allowed a TV, they're allowed pizzas, they're allowed an iPad. I mean, it's not, maybe they wouldn't have even been able to afford those things if they were out of prison. How much does all of your technology cost you? Are you having a tough time to pay for all these expensive Apple products and all the streaming services? We pay for prisoners' streaming services. We pay for their iPads.
I don't know how, like, depending on the prison. Like, again, I do have family in prison, and it wasn't like that at all. Like, just the fines, like, that you owe when you get out of prison. Like, you can't get a job, first of all. So my parents pay all of these fines every single week.
That's the problem with low-level offenses, because it shouldn't, again, like the punishment fit the crime. If you're a low-level offender, you shouldn't have the full weight of the system making it so hard for you to rebuild your life, because you're supposed to be in prison it's basically like you're going to repent for your sins, and it is a punishment, but there also should be rehabilitation.
100%.
If you've already killed 4 people and it's been proven and we got you on video and you even admitted to it, goodbye, gone. Let's just kill you. Firing squad, injection, you pick, but you're gone. So I'd like to harsh up those punishments for the people that really deserve it and get them off this earth and out of society, and lessen the punishments for the people that wrong place, wrong time, didn't have any money, nobody got killed. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? So
non-violent offenders, wrong. Yes. It should be a lot more focused on rehabilitation. That? And I think it would be, I know you love dogs, especially.
I love all animals.
All animals, yes, but dog rescues. There are prison projects in California. I don't know about other states, but I did see, they give the prisoners, like, these are all like lower level, like, robberies, a thing like non-violent crimes.
California has the most, where they
give them a dog. Yeah, and it's like, it totally reformed them. They were like, I never trusted people. Like, I didn't have parents growing up. Like, I was in the foster care system, abused, and like, this animal loves you unconditionally, and to feel that from something, it's like, we can help animals. We have so many that are, on their own death
every
list.
Year I give to one of those organizations that they save, because some of the easiest to euthanize dogs are pit bulls and black dogs. So those dogs that are absolutely going to be killed, they're put into this program where they bring them into prisons, and literally it saves them from death. They still end up in the shelter, but because they're part of this program, it extends their life, and they spend those hours with the prisoners, rehabilitating them, giving them love, showing them how to trust again, but the dog gets to live. So it's a win-win. I give money every year. It's one of the charities that every year the money comes out and goes to that organization.
Definitely.
And California does. So there's some good in the California prison system, because they lead the way on things like that.
And they work with Norway, which has one of the lowest recidivism rates in the entire world for prisoners returning back to prison. And the way that they treat them, it's like, being here is the punishment. Like, you can't go with your family, but we're not going to treat you like American, like shit, because we expect you to go back into society being a better person, not worse. Like, personally, my brother would get tattoos. He would figure out and find new ways to do things from other people who are not great people. And you wind up a worse person when you come out.
No, you can't. In the American prison system, I can't even imagine. It must be so horrible. I feel so bad for your brother, because he now has no good influences, and the people that are going to be teaching him how to be a person are people that are not good people.
Exactly.
So
and they don't care about you.
He's just going to continue to plummet, or maybe he's a super strong person inside and can survive it. I hope he does.
Well,
but look, what happened?
His last one was a violent offense. So, they gave him the full, but he's going to get out early and all of that, because good behavior, all that kind of stuff. He got 25 years.
Oh, my stars.
Yeah, but it was
so the murder of 4 people got 10 years. And your brother, did anybody die?
No.
Nobody died, and your brother has 2.5 times more on paper than this guy who killed 4 people. And he admitted to it. That was the plea deal. So he admitted, he knew that they got him.
Yeah.
And he still got 10 years, dude.
What state was that? Do you know?
I think it was Texas. Which is supposedly like,
I know, right?
You commit a crime in Texas and Florida, whoa.
We'll basically line you up and shoot you.
But they're the first to be like, oh man, well, let's just not go to trial, because we may not be able to win it. So we'll just give you a plea, and we'll tell everybody that we're harsh on crime, but we need to get to the next one, because there's just too many. We can't keep up with the numbers. Speaking of which, here's the moral of this story, is to not be stupid enough to think that the American justice system is going to help you out. The police, as much as I respect good police, and I am a firm believer in cops, I've never been a defund cops kind of person. I love the cops. I admire the cops, but I hate bad cops. So don't expect the system that we got now to help you. And look at what's happening to Karen Reed.
Our injustice system.
Our injustice system, yes. The injustice department and our unjust justice system. Yes. So you were right the first time. Yeah. Our justice system is so flawed, but it starts with people that, like Karen Reed. This case is so polarizing, so interesting. She's going to trial this week, the second time around. She was acquitted the first time. No spoilers here, but sorry, spoiler on this one. There's a great documentary right now on Max on Karen Reed. It doesn't tell the full story. They said they want to be unbiased. So it tells a little bit of like her side and a little bit of the Commonwealth side. And what's interesting about the case is people that are free Karen Reed are anti-corruption, anti-lies, anti-being railroaded by our unjust justice system and by the Commonwealth in this case, and being falsely accused and ultimately falsely imprisoned if you get convicted. And the people that are on the other side are supposedly pro-law enforcement. Now, that to me is like a low blow because it's not, and it's yet another miscarriage of the truth. It is not that free Karen Reed people are anti-law enforcement. I am very pro-law enforcement, but I am anti-corruption and I'm anti there's bad seeds in law enforcement and they should be held to a higher standard. So if you mess up in law enforcement and you lie and you plant evidence and you distort the facts and you try to take somebody's freedom from them, you should be punished 10 times fold because you were in a position and you've sworn an oath. That is your job to uphold truth and justice. And you're doing the opposite. So I'm on the side of truth and I'm on the side of justice, not on the side of dirty cops. John O'Keefe was a cop who was killed. And they're accusing Karen Reed, his girlfriend, of his murder. I'm on the side of justice for that guy. And he was actually a handsome guy and seemed like a decent, was a bit of a partier or whatever, and maybe not the best person in the world, but I think he was a decent.
But I mean, he didn't deserve
to end
or
up
be killed
with his face all beaten up and his eyes swollen and all these dog scratches on his arm and left to die in the snow.
You said he has kids too?
His sister died of cancer early in life, and her husband, I think, died of a broken heart 6 months later. So he adopted their kids.
Oh, that's right.
And Karen Reed was his girlfriend at the time, and they were actually fighting the day he died because Karen Reed was too generous with the kids, was spoiling the kids. And she's saying, look, I'm not even your wife. I'm just your girlfriend. I'm doing the best I can for these kids.
And you want to make them like you, like.
Of course. So that's a weird position to be in. So they were fighting about that. They were talking about breaking up. They'd been fighting for quite some time. So it was a very rocky relationship. I think we both know what that's like. God knows.
Yeah.
And they were just living the life of a rocky relationship even up until the night that he died. So even though they were breaking up, I think, he was like, well, come out with me. Obviously, the guy still is attracted to her and likes her. Yeah. He's the one who wanted her to come out with him. And they all went out drinking with these people. So when I first heard about this story, I was like, oh, okay. Well, she got pissed and she, ran him over. Like they said, another girl or guy that snaps and kills their partner, right? That's not how I thought in the beginning. And then the more I read about it, the more evidence I listened to, the more podcasts I listened to, the more programs that I watched, the more that I heard this word. It's called bird dogged.
Bird dog, yeah.
I never heard that phrase. Someone used it with me this morning. I hate it because I guess the origin of it was because you have to really get into the weeds, and dogs that help hunters, and I despise hunting for sport. I think it's a loser's sport. Like whoever does that, fuck you. But it was meant to be like, oh, you're going to get really in this rabbit hole in the weeds because the dogs would be helping hunt pheasants, right? So what is it again? Bird dogging.
Bird dogging, yes.
So, not to get totally into the weeds on this, but the people that they were out with that night, right? They're all drinking, all drunk. one of them was an ATF agent. The other one was a cop. The other, friends, wives. Yeah. They were all together. All of them were drinking. Again, in the beginning, I believed that Karen Reed did it. And then the more I learned, the more I realized there's no way. All the evidence shows that she didn't do it. And actually, all the evidence shows that not only is there so much reasonable doubt that there's no way this could happen, that this person would be on trial the first time, much less the second time, but that all the evidence shows that somebody else killed him. Because, and you don't know a lot about Karen Reed, right?
No, I only know from what you told me.
Because it's so fascinating.
I will. I'll check out that documentary on Max.
It's on Max. It's called The Trial of Karen Reed.
Trial of Karen Reed.
You can listen to Conspiracy in Canton. It's a podcast that is incredible. And she cites all the evidence. She's not biased, although you tell she has an opinion. Conspiracy in Canton is like the small town, that's like a suburb of Boston, but it's small town, Massachusetts, where it's so incestuous and all the same people have been in power for so long, whether they be elder statesmen, like they have that in like that area. I don't know if it's just Massachusetts or if it's like all of New England, but they have like their town city council or like statesmen or aldermen or something like that. Anyway, they're all corrupt or in it for maybe the wrong reasons or been in it too long and don't know wrong or right to the extent where they have to like, they're not going to see outside of themselves. They've lost touch with what's really right for the people because they only care what's right for them. That's what I'm trying to say. And I'm starting to get fired up about this because the more I talk about the Karen Reed case, the more I realize what's wrong with our society. Because it is emblematic of all the problems in our justice system or lack thereof. And it's emblematic of the problems in our society. We're so divided. It's not even as simple as just one side versus another. If you look at the evidence, if you have any common sense, and even half a brain. And if you're not corrupt and not just going in one direction because you feel like that's where you have to be, if you go with where the truth is and where the evidence is, which is what a trial is supposed to be, you slowly peel the onion back and you realize, wait a second, there's no way she could have done this. So these same people have, and it's been proven, right? So it's going to go to trial again. These same people who say, Karen Reed did this, right? The Commonwealth says Karen Reed did this, and all these witnesses are coming forward with information that they say lends itself to her having done this or showing guilt, right? All those same people, the McCabe family, the Albert family, he's a cop too, by the way. They found John on their lawn. They have destroyed evidence. They have planted evidence. The lead investigator in the case has planted evidence, distorted videos, warped videos, inverted videos, has since been fired and terminated. He was suspended without pay.
Text messages.
He didn't get rid of it, but he didn't volunteer any of it. It was only because there was a federal investigation that was running tandem to their prosecution of Karen Reed initially. There was a federal investigation that the jury didn't even know about where the feds got their phones. They didn't turn them over to the attorneys. In fact, all the witnesses in the case that were asked to preserve their phones the day before the preservation order destroyed their cell phones. They didn't just upgrade and get new cell phones. They destroyed them. One even went to an army base, took his SIM card out and destroyed his phone. They also butt dialed each other. They said that they didn't call each other. So then it was found out that they did. So after they lied and said they didn't, they said, oh, okay, those were butt dials. And then it was proven that the butt dials actually butt dialed the same person back again. So we have dueling butt dials going back and forth. When does your butt dial
dueling butt
back?
Dials?
That is some messed up stuff. And but the Judge Canoni is asking, why is she putting us through that? Like, why is she allowing them to perjure themselves and lie on the stand? Like, how is that allowed?
What would be interesting is if they're kind of letting it happen for the feds, because all of that the feds will be able to use.
Well, the feds dropped their investigation eventually. Yes, with no charges. However, as a result of that federal investigation, they were able to get, like I said, the lead prosecutor's cell phones, and whatever cell phones weren't destroyed, the feds were able to preserve that. And it turns out the lead investigator already had it out for Karen Reed. Within 16 hours of the investigation, he was saying the cop that lives inside the house will not have any reprisal, because showed all of his texts and stuff to his peers, right? Even his bosses. They're like, oh, well, that guy's going to be in trouble right now. He's a Boston cop too. Oh, you're not even going to talk to him? No, he's good. Well, what about Karen Reed? She's fucked. These are what he said. Oh, you're looking through her phone? What do you do? Find anything yet? No nudes yet. And he was talking about her body parts, about her medical history, like basically slamming this girl, saying she's crazy, saying she's got like a weird ass, but she's hot. Like crazy. This is a police officer, the lead investigator, talking to his bosses about the woman that they are accusing of murder.
And where did you hear this? In the Max one or on the podcast?
The Max only tells a little bit of both sides. The producers of that show deliberately said, we don't want to come across bias. But if you look at the evidence in the case, you can't help but be biased based on where the truth brings you. Like I said in the beginning, I thought she did it. And then ever since all these years that this has been happening, I've realized there's no way she could have done it. And in all likelihood, it was some people in that house that did it and dumped his body on the lawn, because of all the evidence that shows they lied on multiple occasions, that the investigation was botched and derailed and inflated. And I can't even find all of the terminology to use, but it's almost like there's no way, because they keep saying, oh, we messed that up. We did this wrong. We did this wrong. Oh, that was our mistake.
Colluded against
that was
her.
An error.
They colluded against her.
Right. How many errors can you make before you just drop it all because the investigation is so maliciously flawed, right? And her attorneys have even tried to get the case thrown out based on gross governmental misconduct. And the judge, who is kind of appears biased because she's coddling and cajoling both the prosecutorial attorneys in the previous trial and in this one. She's like, where you're supposed to rule to protect the integrity of the prosecution's case and the person who's on trial, their rights. She's protecting only the prosecution's case. It's so interesting that she is not concerned with Karen Reed's rights at all.
No.
Because she's concerned with preserving, because if they lose, and I think they will lose this case, and eventually Karen Reed turns around and sues the Canton Police Department, the Boston Police Department, the Commonwealth, she's going to turn around and sue for a wrongful prosecution.
She's not the only one that's been wrapped up in something like this with that police department. So if she does, like,
thank you for saying that. Hashtag
police,
Sandra Birchmore.
Yeah.
That same police department was already under investigation and turned out
Sandra Birchmore?
Sandra Birchmore. So basically, this is going to be another long story short. But this poor woman also aligned with the Canton Police Department, was like a police, like a intern, kind of like it's hard to describe it. She was part of a program where the police mentor you and you're a part of, like, anyway.
Community outreach kind of thing.
Yeah. But it turns out she ended up being groomed. She was underage at the time. She ended up being groomed by several of the police officers and ultimately was in a relationship with one of them who was already married. And then she got pregnant and then I guess dumped him. And he didn't want all this to come out because she was having her baby. He killed her, denied it. They all covered it up. The DA didn't want to prosecute. They didn't bring out any charges. It wasn't until years and years and all this evidence came out where they finally had to say, got it. This evidence doesn't lie. It was brought to them and forced down their throats. Yeah. Again, they were still trying to cover it up. It turns out he did kill her, and the other police were also prosecuted, and now he's going to be in prison, probably for less time than your poor brother. But he killed this girl that he also was in a relationship with outside of his marriage, cheating on his wife, and she was underage.
Said she was underage, yeah.
And killed her. I mean, the worst thing that happens is she got killed, But same players,
That shows,
Police Department.
I mean, underage, other officers knew. It's like you can see the corruption, I don't know, the ability for them to basically do whatever they want there. Like, that police department, no rules.
There's no accountability. Where there's smoke, there's always fire.
Yes,
always.
Exactly.
And how many times do we have to be looking at this police department and giving them a pass? Like, Judge Canone, like, come on, girl, enough with this, because she's trying to prevent this deluge that I think will eventually ultimately happen.
That's exactly why she's scheduling the cops and the prosecutor, because if you open that door, I guarantee you a flood will come.
Yeah, because it's what's deserved.
It's all
what's
on the
supposed
surface.
to come.
Yes, exactly.
My prediction is that Karen Reed is going to be acquitted, and I think she's going to come after them. And we're talking like $500 million. That town will be bankrupt.
I hope she bankrupts the police department. Yes.
By the way, I'm not a big Karen Reed fan. Do I think that she's innocent? I do, based on the evidence.
Yes.
I'm not a big Karen Reed fan. I'm more of a fan of John O'Keefe. But his family, on top of everything else, his family chose to sit with those same people that the defense is showing you evidence that they're covering it up. And his family chose to sit with them in solidarity.
That's insane.
It's so insane, but it's like there's this mindset that it's like all or nothing for some people. And you can, if you're a reasonable person, you can look at things in a pragmatic and common sense and factual way and say, wait a second, my beliefs might be this, but common sense and all the evidence is telling me that. So I better start opening my mind.
Yeah. And I mean, they could have been pressured to do that. I mean, clearly the cops can do whatever they want in that town without repercussions. So
I'm glad you said that. Maybe
you cross them,
give them the benefit. Maybe they feel
maybe they were
pressured.
I guarantee it.
But then John O'Keefe's brother, after the last trial, where there was a mistrial, which most of the jurors said, she should be, all of the jurors said that they would have acquitted on 2 of the charges. She's charged with 3 different crimes.
Yeah.
They would have acquitted on 2, and they were hung on the 3rd. But because of Massachusetts law and how things are worded in the jury forms, they thought it was, and were told by the foreman, who was I think he was a retired police officer, which is very cop aligned. And again, I'm cop aligned. I'm just not bad cop aligned. But he said it's all or nothing, basically. He said you either have to acquit on all 3 or none of the above, and it's a mistrial. So they couldn't come to an agreement, so it was a mistrial. But they already acquitted her on the 2. It's actually going to the Supreme Court now. The problem is that the Supreme Court, I think they get like 7,000 or 8,000 cases a year. They only hear like 100.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
They may not hear it, but it's going to the Supreme Court that, wait, she's already been acquitted. That's double jeopardy. There's just so much wrong. Here's these people that lived in this house that were also, by the way, drunk this whole time. They're saying they didn't call, but oh yeah, but here are your calls. Oh yeah, no, those were all butt dials. Really? There were like 17 butt dials. And then the butts were calling each other back, and those were also butt dials. And they destroyed their phone, and they sold their house, and they rehomed their dogs, even though John had all these dog marks on his arm. And their kid that was there, that was underage and drinking, his name is Colin Albert, had something to do with something, because he's always like mouthing off and threatening people. There's all these video recordings of him fighting, threatening to beat people up, threatening to do things with other people. He's like a punk. He's like a scumbag. He was there that night. The other people in that house had committed crimes. One actually killed somebody else and got away with it because, again, he was a cop, associated with cops, friends with cops. They flushed it. More than one person in that house committed a serious crime. One of them killed somebody. I believe a second actually did. It was like a vehicular homicide. So I think 2 people in that house killed someone. So these are people that are more beneath contempt than above reproach. And they sold their house. They took up the carpets. They rehomed their dogs. They did all this stuff. They inverted the videos. They collaborated with the police to destroy evidence. They wanted to give a gift to the lead investigator. Hey, after all of this mess is done, we'd like to give you a gift. Oh, don't give it to me. Give it to my wife. I'm so glad they fired his sorry ass Michael Proctor and your family that's still backing you up. Fuck you.
Is that the officer who groomed the girl, Michael Proctor?
No, that was also Canton Police, but that was a different guy who's in prison now. Michael Proctor is one of those bad cops. He's a piece of shit. He's that like bad apple that corrupts the whole bunch. And look at all the energy and money and taxpayer time and all this vitriol between communities. There are people that are not friends anymore over Karen Reed. It's like a big deal. you're not super into true crime, but it's such a big deal. And I'm passionate about it because this woman, I believe, is being railroaded by our injustice system. And I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of it. It's happening so much now.
I'm hoping the media attention gets the Supreme Court to pick it up, because I was just looking and she's trying for a double jeopardy argument to the Supreme Court, since she was already tried on 2 of those charges and they acquitted her. So they want to throw out 2 of 3 charges.
Look,
so
eventually
it would just be the 3rd that should be tried on.
Exactly. And Bill Cosby can get out of it at some point. And let's face it, we all know he was drugging those girls and doing whatever the nasty he was doing to those girls with their, you know what I mean? Like, if Bill Cosby later
openly talking
on a
about
technicality,
it on TV.
Yeah. He got off on a technicality, you know, come on. We got all this evidence. At some point, I can't predict because I'm not good with that kind of stuff. But if it does go all the way to trial, I do predict that she will be acquitted. And I hope she sues the living shit out of everybody involved. Because John O'Keefe's family is actually trying to come after her. They're suing her for, and they're pausing that lawsuit now because they've been asked to until the prosecution is over, which they're trying her the second time. They're going after her for wrongful death, but they're also suing the bars that served her. Meanwhile, the bars served John O'Keefe and all of his friends that are also probably, the witnesses.
Yeah.
They're drunk too. Like, the problem is that Karen Reed's the one who's being railroaded, in my opinion, wrongfully prosecuted, but all those other people were served too. Nobody left there sober.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But they're suing the bars. I just feel like it's a bridge too far. There's so much wrong with this. We could be here all day. But do I believe Karen Reed didn't do it? Yes. I don't believe she did. The evidence shows me that she didn't do it. Do I love Karen Reed? No, I'm not a Karen Reed lover. Do I think that she was the best girlfriend in the world and the most loving heart and the most kind of sweetest gal? No, but that's not what we're being asked to, like, this is not a character evaluation of Karen Reed.
Now, if it was, the character of the whole police department would be in major question.
I'm so glad you said that. Of the players involved, the Alberts, the McCabe's, the Proctors, I would pick Karen Reed any day. These people are scumbags.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to, like, make everybody look into Karen Reed's life and past and text messages and phones. All right, well, let's see what's going on in your world. And the more that comes up, these guys were criminals and scumbags and police officers and people in law enforcement that were covering up, like, crimes their entire careers, driving drunk, losing their gun. Like, if they've been up to this crap for too long, there has to be some accountability. Now, there's another Karen I want to talk about, because I can't talk about Karen Reed anymore because I'm getting so upset. I'm getting, like, depressed for this earth and specifically our country, which I love so much. I just don't know what's happening.
Well, I wouldn't be depressed because, I would be depressed for all the people who aren't getting this type of media attention, but are being railroaded by similar police departments because they can get away with pretty much anything because they have badges. At least she's getting, like, this is just one case that we know about.
Because it's been so drummed up.
Yes, because of media attention. And, you get your own HBO Max documentary
she's
thing.
A celebrity now. But for all the wrong reasons, unfortunately.
But that attention will help get her case. Like the ACLU, we talked about that last time. They've intervened and they're going to help her with her case to the Supreme Court. Huge organization, been around for years, fighting for.
Did you know
rights.
One of the jurors? Thank you for saying that. One of the jurors is an attorney of a previous trial. She joined the defense team. She's like, I'm so scared for I'm scared for us as people, as citizens. Because I do not believe that our justice system is just. This is a clear example. So she joined one of her attorney's firms. She has a license to practice law. So because the judge disallowed another attorney to join the Karen Reed team, which is crazy to me. That's
insane.
And her ruling for it didn't make a whole lot of sense. She's made a lot of rulings that didn't make sense, but she can't do anything about it.
I know why.
I know. She's helping, she's enabling it. Even if she's done nothing that you can prove that's wrong, she's enabled it. And all of the close calls, when you stack them all up, it looks very unjust. And it doesn't look like that person should be a judge anymore. To me.
Especially with receiving those acquittals. Like one of our basic laws is no double jeopardy. Like, you can't be tried on a case you've already been tried for.
No,
She was acquitted,
I
but
know,
she refuses to drop those. It's like, you are doing anything you can to take her down.
They showed her videos that were clearly tampered with, saying, look, this is governmental misconduct. They showed evidence after evidence after evidence. I mean, they showed a video that says, look, we never touched the car. The video that they sent was inverted, and they knew it. And she still wouldn't toss. Like, no matter what you do, this girl was not going to toss the case because she knew if she tossed it, that Karen Reed was going to turn around and sue the pants off of them, which will ultimately happen anyways.
And it's only going to be more money. She's only going to make more money by the end of this.
I hope she does. Anyway, I do want to talk about Karen Huger because you brought up an interesting point.
Karen Huger.
Karen Huger is a Real Housewives of Potomac. She's called the Grand Dam, but she's just damn. Like, she sucks, dude. She is the piece of garbage that has now had 3 DUIs, not admitted to any accountability for, and not saying, hey, this is my mistake. I'm a drunkard. I'm a wasteoid, whatever. This happens in people's lives and I'm taking full accountability. None of that. She tried to fight, tried to go to court, tried to say, oh, blah, 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 where I'm so stressed. My parents passed away. Meanwhile, they passed away like 6 years ago. I was mixing pills and alcohol. Okay, well, you're not supposed to do that either. Like, you're in your 60s. This is your 3rd DUI. When are you going to start taking accountability in your life, right? Yeah. So you fucking bitch. And then there's this video that came out where she's telling the cops, like, you know who I am type crap. You know who I am. You're so lowly. You're crap. You're nothing. She's like the kind of she's on this other, like, she's not opposite of Karen Reed. What am I trying to say? Like, to your point where she's making it harder for the people that really do need cops to be on their side and to realize, yeah, hey, I'm just a black woman on the street. An everyday black woman
would be shot for performing that way in front of the cops. Like,
she demeaned them. She was yelling at them. She was not cooperating. She was resisting arrest. She was being an all-around drunk bitch.
She's abusing her class powers and her clout.
She brought up like Andy Cohen, just to like, oh, that guy probably doesn't even know, unless he's some gay guy who watched Bravo. He's not going to know who Andy Cohen even is. You know what I'm saying? But she was like name dropping, trying to like, make herself look bigger and badder. It was so sick. And she, right? Doesn't she ruin it for all the non-Karens of the world who just happen to be a black girl on the street having a bad night? And the cops are going to really stick it to her.
Definitely.
Because they can, because of Karen Hugers. The Karen Hugers of the world.
And it's just like, you know how other people of your race are treated by police and you behave that way. It's just like an injustice to your own community. Like, that is not acceptable. It's acceptable for you because you're wealthy. Like, you think that your wealth and your fame make you
better than everybody else.
Yes. But
what about your commitment to not only your fans, but your community? Like, shouldn't she have a greater commitment when she does use this platform? Like, people look up to me. You know, like, I'm this, I'm that, I'm all that, I'm doing this.
And it's all recorded. I mean, nowadays, all the police have body cameras. So.
Oh, no, they released the video.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, bad. You knew what was going to happen and you still did it anyway. And it makes you look bad. And it's like, it's just, I don't know, obnoxious because no one else can get away with that. Like,
some other drunk black girl is going to get it that much worse because of her, right?
Yeah, and you're not even that popular to be using that. It's just like.
Well, she does suck, and I can't stand her, and you don't even know who she is, and you couldn't care less.
But I looked her up.
The Real Housewives, or used to be a big thing. It's not anymore as much as it was, but what I don't like about it is that people like Andy Cohen, who I actually thought was okay back then. I'm kind of sick of him now. It's just the whole shtick has gotten a little bit old, but I don't like that Bravo always tries to like force felons on us. And I'm okay if look, everybody deserves a second chance. Everybody makes mistakes. Teresa Giudice signed, she was on the Real Housewives in New Jersey. She signed bankruptcy documents, apparently saying that she didn't know what she was signing, but basically like her husband committed bankruptcy fraud. And he was a really bad guy and a piece of shit. So she probably knew about it. And birds of the same feather do flock together. So she probably knew about it and did whatever. So I don't think she's an innocent gal. Should she have gone to prison for the 8 months she did? Yeah, I think she probably should have. Does she deserve a second chance? Yes. So that's so fine. I was okay with that. But the Jen Shaws of the world from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City that's in prison now with her sentence that keeps getting reduced from 9 to 7 to now 5. And now I think she's only going to do 4 total. Jen Shaw was stealing from people from their retirement accounts and bilking old people and vulnerable people.
That is evil.
And she was like doing like robocall marketing to the same list of vulnerable people, thousands of vulnerable people. She stole like $10 million. She was on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. He's talking like he would allow her back on the show. Erica Jane, whose husband was Tom Girardi, convicted on 4 counts. Piece of shit, like the Aaron Brockovich guy, the lawyer who was supposed to like have the backs of all the people that got fucked by big companies or killed in plane crashes or drank poison water, and he stole all their money. He actually she's being sued left and right and should be, but she's not claiming, and she's coming off like, I'm the victim here. What the fuck? Everybody's saying, dude, you knew he deposited $20 million in your account. Just a couple of years ago. It wasn't like this was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It was just a couple of years ago. Because nobody listens to her shitty ass music. Nobody like, she's shit. She's not good. It's all about the show and the outfits and the backup dancers. All that costs money. It was funding her career.
So Bravo is basically glorifying these rich people.
Yes. Giving a platform.
Making their wealth seem
scumbags.
Earned. But in reality, the way that they're wealthy is because they're all scumbags.
Right. And she should probably be, to me, Erica Jane, at some point, this is another prediction for me, at some point they will prove that she had some complicity in this and that she did commit some crime. Guaranteed, because she's a shit person like that. She had earrings that were worth like $150,000 that the estate had to sue to get her to turn over because to make it right, all the money that because he stole way more than the $20 million. That was just what he gave her. And she didn't want to give them back. And she actually sued after the judge said, no, you have to give them back. She actually sued to keep them.
And did she get to keep them?
No.
Okay,
ultimately, no.
Good.
But on top of that, she's got even more lawsuits because she was fucking other people over.
To sue to get something that you took and refused to return.
She was on camera with the other housewives were saying, well, what about the victim? She's like, I'm the victim. What do you mean about the victim? I'm the victim. And she's got this weird voice. She's disgusting to me. Bravo
giving
gives
them a platform. Exactly.
Karen Huger. So he's going to ask her back, I think, when she gets out of prison. I'm not going to watch anymore. I'm tired of giving a megaphone.
Yeah, the drama. I could see that being an appealing thing to put them back on after that because it's going to, the drama that would cause, the conversations it's going to evoke on the show.
Maybe if he was as honest as you're being about it and say, look, she's a felon and I hate what she does.
But it makes good entertainment.
It makes good entertainment.
But that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing because people who are not tuned in, people who just put the show on are going to see this and it's like, it's American wealth. Like it makes it seem like a good thing, like the Kardashians. Like the first billionaire in their family, Kylie, made it off lip kits selling to young girls like, you can get lips like mine. She took her years to admit that she had gotten lip injections. Like, she didn't get her lips from her lip kits. She got injections. And you will never look like her. So you just keep buying her products to make yourself feel better.
I mean, it's reprehensible, but it's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
That's the problem I have. Where do we draw the line? I would have more respect for Andy Cohen if he said exactly what you just said. Look, I don't stand by what she did. I actually think she's an asshole. And she never even admitted it. And she wanted to fight about it in court and she lost. And even then she didn't come out and say, look, I'm just a wasteoid and I made a bad mistake 3 different times and I'll never do it again. No, she didn't do that. Fuck her. But am I going to put her back on? Yes, because it's good entertainment. And maybe we're going to have the other housewives call her out. Like if he said that, yes. I'd watch.
Yes.
But this bullshit, like, yeah, I would love
like
to
the
see
Trump
what
thing.
happens.
Like you let them get away with pretty much anything, and they will never admit that they're wrong. They will never, ever.
You can't have that. It's called lawlessness.
And it makes them kind of Teflon, though. Like if you admit you're wrong, then people can take you down. Like if you, no, I'm the victim. You keep putting on this front. I don't know. It seems to do well in the entertainment industry and politics. Like just never admitting you're wrong.
But does it though? Because even take it from relationships. Like everything's just a relationship, right? Whether in politics or entertainment. I have a relationship right now where there's somebody who is Teflon. Like there's zero accountability. Yeah. They're never wrong. But guess what? I'm done with that relationship.
Yeah.
I will no longer do anything. I will not give money. I will not make donations. I will not support in any way that person that's never wrong because I'm sick of that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sick of politicians, Democrats too, but right now the biggest culprits, are Republicans and all their enablers. So I'm sick of that shit. As a citizen, as a taxpayer, I am sick to death of that shit. And I'm not going to watch any more programs with assholes like that.
Yeah.
Like Karen Huger, fuck you. Andy Cohen, fuck you if you're going to put her back on and not say what my lovely co-host just said, which is the truth. That she's
it's for the money.
And you're doing it for the money and for the entertainment value. And then I'm down with that. At least you're being honest, you know?
True.
I'm just sick of it all. Like maybe like, you know, everybody deserves a second chance. Like look at Caitlyn Jenner. I despise her. She killed somebody. She had the money to get away with it. Brandy, I think she killed somebody too. You might not even know who any of these people are. Brandy is like, I just watched some crap horror movie on Max. I had to turn it off because it wasn't good. I think it was called like the Last Door or The Other Room or Another Door. Anyway, it was not good. She was not doing a good job. But I think she killed somebody. I think she was drunk. I think it was like a vehicular homicide, something like that, right?
Yeah.
Or, vehicular manslaughter, something like that. But people deserve a second chance, and right? Like they do in some cases, and in most cases, because you have to. That's how society works.
But if you have the money to have a driver, and you still drunk drive,
right? That's what I'm saying.
That is insanity to me because you get put away for a long time for drunk driving and killing someone. Like a regular person would not be able to get away with it, like Caitlyn Jenner did or Brandy did, like,
or Karen Huger for 3 different times. I guess what's changed now in me, and I think it's starting to trickle down and into and onto society from every which way but loose. But I think everybody is sick of the shit. It's not just me, right? I think it's even like kind, more passive people like you who also are extremely liberal, but have intelligence and are logical and seeing what's going on in the world. I think you're sick of it too. You're sick of the abuses of it. Like the Mel Gibsons of the world and the people that haven't learned from any of their misdeeds and are just going to try to like work the system and be clandestine about this and shove this under the rug and bide their time until I'll make this other movie. I'll do this. I'll pay this person off. Oh, maybe I'll even run for governor of California. Like do all this. I'm talking about Mel Gibson, obviously, but like just be in the catacombs for a little bit, be quieter here until I can work my way back. He didn't learn a damn thing from all of his past crimes. And he never killed anybody. He's a piece of shit human being.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give him a platform, and I never would. I have not watched, since all this stuff was unearthed years ago. Remember Moon Shadows? Oh, wait, you're too young. Moon Shadows in Malibu, his like drunken tirade. Like all this crap about him. I have not watched a single Mel Gibson film. They're doing another Passion of the Christ, which was his biggest film. And he's going to be making $100 gajillion off of that too. And
I wasn't allowed to watch like anything with blood or gore, but I was forced to watch The Passion of the Christ in theaters.
I'm sure. Okay. All right. So
just saying.
I watched that in theaters too, but I didn't know until after that it was his movie. I actually went with my parents.
Did you?
Yeah. But I was an adult and you were still
I was a kid forced to be there.
Very young.
Yeah.
I cried. I thought it was good, but I didn't know until after the fact that it was a Mel Gibson film. I would have never even seen it. Because I believe it was like, because I stopped watching anything with him a long time ago. Now, I'm not sure if that came out before all of his many misdeeds came to light.
I'm pretty sure it had already started, but Passion of the Christ is like, it was 2004. I was 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
Having to watch that stuff.
I hate you. My birthday's coming up and I'm up in arms over it. Oh, Yves. All right. We're getting to that point. So the message for actual, so this was a tale of two Karens. The message for actual Karens is fuck you because we're fed up. We're so tired of people taking advantage. Yes, there are second chances in this life, but we're tired of the people that think that they're all that and that they are, above the law,
the
above
norms,
accountability, thank you. Like, stop bucking the norms and making things so chaotic and insane that we have to tolerate your sorry ass in our society because everything else is so much worse too.
Exactly. And I mean, a fish rots. What's that saying? A fish rots from the head. It's like you have Trump.
A fish stinks from its head.
Yeah. Yeah. This Trump effect where all of these misdeeds and whatever, it's like, oh, wait a second. If you just deny and push under the rug, then people will be distracted by the next thing and we'll move on. And that's what happens.
Or somebody else will do something even worse and it'll make and by the way, they're in your party and your administration.
Exactly.
But they'll make what you're doing and all your Twitter grabbing and whatever else not seem that egregious. I mean, he has people on there that, like, I mean, we don't have to go down that road.
The Hegseth who
beat his wife and drunken scumbag.
Drunk on television multiple times.
Being a drunk,
and now
though,
he's our defense secretary. But like
being a drunk, but yeah, again,
but
it's okay to be a drunk, but don't beat your wife, and you're not going to be our defense secretary.
Yeah.
The Clarence Thomases of the world and the other Kavanaughs of the world, you shouldn't even been on the Supreme Court. Like, not that you're not going to be in prison, or you're not like the biggest piece of shit in the world, but you're not good enough to be a defense secretary or a chief of staff of this, or a Supreme Court justice, or head of our FBI. Like, no, any of those people, you should be the best of the best, like absolutely the most credentialed, the least baggage of everybody, because you're in a position of power. You're in a position to say, hey, all you other people, you're doing things wrong. You can't be the one with bigger baggage than all those people that you're judging.
And especially, I want to, like, because people need to remember, Joe Biden, Clarence Thomas, he was head of the committee. I do, yes. He destroyed Anita Hill. He destroyed her.
I know.
And all the people interviewing her were older white men.
But it's
who
still
have probably done exactly what Clarence Thomas did to another woman. And that's why they didn't have a problem with it. They're like, this is the norm.
But when the Kavanaugh trial that happened again, that wasn't Biden. Those were Republicans. They were coming after this woman that was abused by Kavanaugh. What I'm saying
are the enablers on both sides who aren't willing to, like, Joe Biden has had his own accusations.
I know, but you gotta believe that it's the lesser of two evils.
But what I'm saying,
Biden and Vladimir Trump, no, you can't even.
But I'm saying, like, if we the left can't call out the right, because you have done these things on your own side. Like, you're both problematic and corrupt to your core. Like, both parties.
Both parties have corrupt politicians. However, I do believe that one party is more in the right than the other, and that is the Democratic Party.
I'm for third party and independents, like Bernie Sanders, who is not Democrat or Republican. He's an independent, and he is that way because he doesn't want to agree with the Democrats because they're wrong.
I wish Bernie would have been president. Our
country would be entirely different.
He's going. I don't know if we talked about this already, so listeners, please excuse us if we're duplicative, but like, he's going around and doing town halls because Republicans are refusing to do town halls.
Yep.
Because they don't want their constituents asking them tough questions.
Yeah, because you're like, are you going to go for that cutting Social Security?
Dude, cutting Social Security
yelling at them
and tip of the iceberg.
Calling Elon Musk
Elania is a piece of shit. Okay, we got to get to our inspirations, but can I just say, I didn't really know enough about Bernie when I first met you, but now that I do, I love this guy and I would have voted for him. I wish he won.
I will say it, and they showed more of Trump's empty podium than Bernie Sanders speaking.
It's a problem because you know what? Again, Karen Reed, I look at the evidence and it's saying that all these other people are more culpable than her, which means you can't convict her. And the evidence shows that Bernie Sanders is a good, like, politician, if you will. He's like whoa, shit.
We're good.
Are we okay?
Yeah.
Are we still? Let me check my mic too.
It's testing. Here. This is just my notes and stuff.
No, this is a big moment because I feel like we're not always aligned.
No.
I'm a fan of Bernie, and you know what? It's an earned fan. He earned me. Because he's proving to me that, one, there's still good people in this room.
Yeah.
Two, that there's still good politicians, even though I'm not a politician person, especially at this juncture. And 3 or 4, wherever I'm at, that Bernie Sanders is bigger than I ever thought he was. And I hope he keeps getting bigger, and I hope he aligns with celebrities. Because we need to steer away from just politicians getting up there.
Yeah.
Because he's still a politician. But he's special, and you're right about him.
Sort of, but because he's always been willing to say things that weren't popular.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since he was young, and now it's come back around, with the healthcare thing. He's been screaming for years and years. And people are always like, I don't want a socialist. I don't want to pay for someone else's health. I'm a healthy person. My barber, he told me, he was like, no, I don't, my mom shouldn't be taxed, just because she's a millionaire or whatever. It's like, she earned that money, and it's like, I'm not, she wouldn't even meet the criteria for additional taxes. We're talking about above $50 million. Your mom would have to make above $50 million to be taxed anymore.
Yeah, they don't understand it because they don't.
Before he didn't get it. My last appointment a few weeks ago, he was like, I wish I would have voted for Bernie Sanders. Now he has to have health insurance.
Interesting, because
and
we
he was like,
talked
it's
about this
expensive
before.
and
If
it's
they're
crappy.
not affected, they're not
Exactly.
going to. It either has to be their mom, their sister, their kid, or themselves.
Yep. And he's like, it's so crappy and it's expensive. He's like, I would vote for him. I want. Why can't we just have that? Like every other country has that.
What we talked about last time. In other countries, you wait for your health care, but you don't pay. Here, you wait and pay.
Yep.
I've seen that firsthand, and I grew up in a hospital.
Yeah.
I knew the other side, you know? I cannot believe it. You're right. All the healthcare thing you got.
And Luigi really helped reignite this topic because it just disappeared. After Biden became president, he said, I'm never going to do Medicare for all. It's not going to happen. I will try to improve Obamacare, which he didn't. But
should always, you always tag Luigi anyways.
Yes.
Like, look, I'm not a big fan I hate what he did. I hate the murder part of it. But do I think he deserves a death penalty? No. And do I hope he gets away with it like all the other criminals?
Temporary insanity, I'm hoping for something. Something.
I think that they'll be able to pull it off because again, you gotta shed some sunlight. If all the eyeballs were on Luigi, our own government would be railroading him.
Yep.
Our own government that's supposed to be above all this is one of the worst perpetrators in the world of injustices. So let's always tag Luigi because I hope he gets
I almost
off.
want to say that he's made himself a martyr. Like he did something most of us wouldn't do or approve of. But
I wish he wasn't so nice to take his mask off when they said, hey, let me look at your handsome face so that I wish he would have gotten away with it. Even though I hate that he kills, I mean,
I know. I was upset at the people. I thought McDonald's reported him. And I do feel bad about saying that, but I'm like, I'm upset he got caught. Like when I heard like he was on the run or whatever, I was like, I hope he just disappears. Like,
because he would have a tough life being on the run with no money and no ability to make money. And he had a family with like parental net and funds. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That would have been hard enough. But as soon as I said it, I felt bad because I was like, God, but this other guy got gunned down in the street. And he's a murderer. He's just not a murderer in our conventional way. Like we were talking about the Kyla thing. It's not illegal to do what you did. Yes, you destroyed lives. It's wrong. It's wrong. And you became a billionaire out of it. And have you founded a charity that, how much has Kylie Jenner given back to our world? Nothing. Now that she's a billionaire. Nothing. I'll tell you what, if I was a billionaire, I would be doing what Mackenzie Bezos, I think we talk about this too. So J.K. Rowling. She's no longer a billionaire because she gave away so much money. Yes. She's a piece of shit. She should shut her mouth. Community. Like, if you have weird views, shut your mouth. No, I totally agree. Given the universe you created, a fantasy and anyone can be anything, blah, blah, wizards, but you can't imagine a transgender person? Yeah, that's insane to you. What a bitch. But on the other side of it, if she gave all this money to charity and she created Harry Potter, she's made a lot of people happy. Yeah. She at least did more than what Vladimir Trump has done. What has he done for charity? Nothing. He's stolen from people and done so many things. And now we elected him as president for the second time. It's like, fuck me again, baby. Yeah, take it into another home. Really? Like what other country would be the Philippines. And I love Filipino people. I love them so much. But they elected another Marcoses. Yeah. Like, they didn't learn. We didn't learn. We're no better than anybody. I don't know how their election system is, You think Marcos would have power after what they went through 30 years ago? Yeah. Well, you were too young. You weren't even born when Ferdinand Marcos. And Imelda Marcos. Remember her shoes? Yes. Remember her shoes? Oh, that bitch. And then they elected his kid. Yep. And there's so many problems in the Philippines. There's so many problems. So many problems inflicted by us. I know a transgender person was killed by a U.S. service member. In the Philippines? Yes, because they have bases. We have bases over there. He bashed her head on a toilet when he found out she was transgender. And he got away with it. The U.S. was like, no, you can't charge him. We'll charge him in the military courts. But they didn't. Did they court-martial him? No, they didn't. They wound up releasing him. He got away with everything. He got away with bashing her head in. Like, the people protested in the country. This was a few years back. Wow. And nothing happened. Wow. And now they want the U.S. out of there. They want their bases gone because they land there. All of these military dudes or Navy dudes come off the ships, get drunk. You're on a ship, so, you wind up having relations with people on the island. And you don't have to treat them well because you are basically invisible. I know a lot of Filipinos. I think you know that. I have strong ties to the Philippines and the Filipino people. I can actually still understand Tagalog to this day. Yeah. Thank God. It's such an amazing and interesting language. Some of the words are hysterical. Filipinos love Americans. We did it to ourselves, and now they want us out. I don't blame them. They do not want. We did it to ourselves. We became hateable, drunk bastards. They love Americans and destroying them. They used to love Americans. So
and I don't think that they hate Americans. I think that they hate our military and our armed forces who land there and take advantage of the fact that they can do whatever they want.
Take. Even our women, and then they kill them.
Yep.
When they end up not being women. It's
like a big thing for transgender people.
Can pay out a trans girl?
Yeah.
If that's your own fault, you're going to kill her? Oh, people are so sick. Whoever that person is, I hope they rot in hell. I really do. So that's part of my hate-spiration. That soldier that killed that trans woman, I hope you rot in hell. And I think, look, karma comes back to you at some point. It may not even be in your lifetime, but it comes back. I do believe in that. I don't know if I believe in heaven and hell anymore, but I do believe that energy never dies and that it lives forever. And bad energy and some murderer piece of garbage shit like that, their energy ends
Jennifer Laude, I want to say her name. Jennifer Laude was killed by Joseph Scott
Laude.
Pemberton.
Love you, Jennifer Laude.
Of the Marine. He was a Marine corporal in 2020. In 2014, he killed her.
Justice for Jennifer Laude. Not in America.
Justice for Jennifer was a big thing for a while.
It was?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not in America, I guess.
Not here, no, because we don't talk about it.
The country of injustices.
Yes. Because it was one of our service members. And that makes us look bad. So media's not going to cover it. The media in general, like, they don't want to be regulated by our government. Like, we do have broad powers to regulate media, especially with their monopolies. But if you do what the government wants, you don't talk about things that they don't want, we're fine with you. We'll let you get away with what you want. We'll let you absorb another gigantic company and be one, like, we have 4 major media outlets. It's like Fox, Disney, who owns ABC and others, and then CNN, who's owned by Time Warner, and NBC, who owns MSNBC and others.
Didn't Time Warner own?
Time Warner is now owned by Discovery. See, a giant conglomerate.
NBC is owned by NBC
is owned by
Universal.
Yes. NBC, Comcast, Universal
owns Universal and NBC,
a gigantic media company. We're talking about, it's not just in the U.S. They own stations all over the world.
No, I remember back in the day,
all over.
Comcast cable, it's like ugh.
Yep.
More scumbags and able to be even scummier as the years go on.
And they divide us because they're like Anderson Cooper is really Anderson Vanderbilt. They're billionaires and millionaires. They
I know
do
I'm
not care
supposed
about
to be ally, but why do I hate Anderson Cooper? And I'm starting to hate Andy Cohen.
They're billionaires who use their.
They're not billionaires, thank God. But Andy Cohen, he's not a billionaire.
Yeah, his family is a Vanderbilt family.
I know, but they're millionaires, but not with a B.
I think
let's get some stats on that.
Okay.
Thankfully, but like Andy Cohen's the kind of person, like he said it on, like he asked one of his guests once on Watch. This is my last episode of Watch What Happens Live, and I can't even tell you. And let's get to our inspirations because we got to wrap it up at some point and get back to our real lives. But we love you all and thank you. Andy Cohen was asking a guest, what would you do with your next $10 million or whatever? And they said something very altruistic, like I'm gonna donate to the ASPCA, and I also want to do this, and then maybe I'll buy I think I want a beach house or something.
Yeah.
But it was like something that was more half charitable and half selfish. He was like, "Oh wow, oh okay, I want my own plane." That's what he said because that's his mentality. I lost respect for him right then and there because that to me is not entertaining. That to me is somebody who's really shallow.
Yeah.
And then he went on to have 2 kids, so now he's gonna he's going to raise them up with that same mentality, me. And he probably got a little bit of that from Anderson Cooper where it rubbed off, where it's like, you know what? Fuck Anderson Cooper. Fuck Andy Cohen. Maybe that's my inspiration. Is like, I don't care if you're gay, Democrat, whatever. Mostly Republicans at this point, because you're all shit right now. Because what's going on in this country, you're fucking up a lot of people's lives, and I'm not down for it. And I think a lot of people, even other Republicans, and thank you for starting to stand up. It's not too late. Other Republicans who said I made a mistake, I embrace you. Come back into the fold. We're all going to get through this together. That being said, I don't care who you are. If you're a piece of shit, I'm done. Karen Huger, I'm done. Goodbye. You want to apologize? Fuck you. The Albert family and the McCabe's, if you want to keep going down there and perjuring yourself okay, great. No problem. We're not a fan. We're all going to keep on speaking out. Yeah. Free Karen Reed. I think my hate inspiration is like, fuck you. Fuck Elon Musk. I'm so happy Tesla continues to tank. I cannot wait. I cannot wait until there's some real financial comeuppance for that bum, that asshole who's thinking he can gut Social Security. My inspiration is goodbye, Elon Musk, one day.
Me too.
You reap what you sow.
Yes.
Is that your hate inspiration?
My hate inspiration is very similar.
Hate inspirations?
My dad said something the other day. My mom was FaceTiming me and I had a question about a project. And I don't remember how we got on the topic, but, talking about Social Security. They're on Social Security. My dad was like, did you see Elon Musk in parallel park rockets? Like, you don't want to mess with that guy. He's going to find all the waste and the abuse, and he's going to improve Social Security. And I was like,
your dad's a delusion.
He's radicalized. That is my inspiration. I think that people have been radicalized.
He doesn't have a lot of common sense, I guess.
No, and it's like you're voting against your own interests, and you don't, like, you're listening to Fox News, who Elon Musk is always on now trying to get, since the people who originally bought his cars, which were, people who cared about the environment originally, and people who wanted something different. And not from one of the brands that, doesn't really care about the environment. There are at least one electric vehicle, like, these are dedicated. You are buying into something.
He had his chance, and now everybody's caught on to Tesla sucks. Let's get on to the next so now better
Fox
thing.
News is being his, megaphone. Personal megaphone and platform, and letting him, talk. Yes, we've talked about that before. The parking the rocket is very cool, and the fact that we're able to reuse that, and it's not just dumped into the ocean.
Yeah, but he didn't do all that.
No, he didn't do it himself, but
he didn't invent any of this.
And to be honest, we have given so much to him in government contracts. We're talking about tens of billions of dollars that would have gone to NASA,
more our own, hundreds of billions.
Our own.
Yeah.
Instead of we're privatizing our journeys outside of Earth.
No, my inspiration is, okay, let me double down on this one. Elon Musk, you reap what you sow, by Twitter, by Tesla, but also, like, it does finally come. It does, it's good. It might take a while. And Fox News, by the way, you might as well be watching the Christian Values Network or whatever, like the Jim Baker shit. Like, it's the same thing. All the commercials that they're running are for end of days.
Yeah.
And like the Chad Daybell's another fucking scumbag.
I'm not going to let CNN or MSNBC get away with it because they radicalize people.
Look, I don't watch any of that crap either.
They're both meant to divide us.
Yes,
so we feel, good in our groups, and we hate the
lesser of evils, though. We disagree in the levels.
Sort of, but they don't. I don't, like we've talked before, there's too much going on, and they get stuck on, like, cultural things, and it's like, we are about to lose Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. You should be talking about that relentlessly. Like, you get a check.
There's no, Fox News is not news because it's not.
They are imbalanced.
Supposed to be, it's supposed to be truth.
Yes.
And it's scripted. It's not,
it's opinion people.
You're watching conservative, radicalized, like the Trump network. It might as well should be called like the conservative network or the Trump network or the value, like supposed down home Christian values network. But meanwhile, those same values, they only, it's interesting. Those Bible beaters only pick out certain portions of the Bible that applies to them.
Yep.
Like any rules that they break or laws that they break or things that they do in their life that are anti what Jesus has said, they will absolve themselves and say, well, God forgives me for all that. But then it's okay for you to do it, but everybody else, oh, we're going to judge you. You're wrong. You fucking snowflakes, you Democrats, you climate trolls or whatever. I don't even know what they call
them. They're weaponizing religion. But I mean, if Jesus was here,
they'd be the first to go to hell.
Tables, yeah.
Jesus,
like he gave free health care. He didn't request your blue shield card. Like,
no doubt.
He was a socialist.
I love Jesus, but I hate like American, like I hate the idea of like American Christianity because it's so fake and they're all a bunch of charlatans and it's so hypocritical. But I will always love Jesus and love spirituality. I'm just not down with religion, especially in this country, Oh, my stars. Are we done? We're done. Love you. We read and have a brain, and we don't get our news on Facebook. But most people are dumb, and although we don't claim to know much of anything, we have common sense and a little street smarts. And these are just our opinions based on what we know. Despite that, we have to make extra evidently, exuberantly clear that this is just entertainment and maybe a little bit of therapy for us. So everything we say is alleged times 10 all the way every day.